right? So you just got the notification. Um, all right, guys. Before we jump into it and we tell you the new plan, I'm gonna ask Kyle, who have been speaking with you guys for some time, to jump into the new arrangement. Admin discipline will jump into the budget structure, and we will look at the manager contract, and then we will close out from that. So, on the player contract, the manager's contract, and the player contract. So, Kyle, over to you, sir.
All right, you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
All right. Thanks for everyone for joining, and I hope everybody watches the video later on as well if they're not here, because this is kind of important. The whole reason, I'm sure you've heard about some of the rules that we're doing with the transfer budget. The whole reason it came about is not to make like things life more complicated or anything like that. It's to solve some problems that we saw arise throughout the many seasons. And I thought I could solve four different problems by getting this transfer budget. I tried to make it as least complicated as possible, and we have all the different rules drawn out, and we tried to still leave it in your hands. One of the biggest things is we were getting a lot of pressure that we wanted season long contracts for players. So that's what we're doing, but we didn't want to just limit you. We all know stuff happens sometimes. So what we did is, within the budget, you can now have as many releases as you have money to spend on the releases. So the releases are 5 million of your 50 million. So if you only spend money on your releases all year, you can have 10 releases. With a 24-man roster, you can still, every free agent you sign is free. Everybody you signed already is free. That doesn't affect anything. Um, the loan system is still free and it's still there for you. Now, one of the problems that arose with the loan system last year, which was a second problem I solved, or hopefully will, with this, is you can now sell a player. So last year, I won't name any names, but there was one manager and a player for a different team. Um, they had agreed that they wanted the loan, but his current manager did not want a loan. And there's nothing in the rules that says the manager has to loan someone. So maybe this time he would have been more inclined to, okay, well, for a minimum of 5 million, which is the exact same as um the it's still the minimum is 5 million, just like the release clause. So you can think of that 5 million different things. And how it goes is the manager, like if you want to buy one of my players, I can go as high as I want. I can say, okay, well, I will give them to you, but for 30 million. But everything's a minimum of 5. So again, releases, if you wanted to release a player, 5 million. If you want to sell a player, minimum of 5 million. Loans are free, free agents are free. And that's really where it that's like, it might sound complicated, but that's it. Another one of the problems, a third problem we solved, or hopefully will solve, is we didn't know the right punishment to give managers or teams that don't put in stats or don't post their home stream. The alternatives were, you forfeit those matches, which I never want anybody to have to forfeit a match that they played. So that one's out of the question. The second alternative, ban the manager for a match or two if they didn't put in stats or post the stream. That, in my mind, is still maybe a little extreme. It depends on who you ask. But what we're going to do now, fine you from that budget. So it's 0.5 million for every time you don't put stats in, and then 1.5 for every stream, because the streams are important. We need those streams to verify scores. And for us to do anything extra, like I do the Twitter stuff, I need those streams. Plus, that's just, there are many people in this league that are just here to get those streams because they want to watch our league. So please get those streams posted. We didn't want to have to ban managers. We didn't want to have to give you forfeits. So this might limit the amount of releases you want to do per year. We do have something in place where if you run out of money, we're still going to hold those weekly tournaments, and we'll try and move the day around because we know not everybody's available on Tuesday. And if you win that 8-man tournament, you can get 5 million. So that's another release that you can make right there. That's basically it. I mean, I know I talked a lot there, but we have it all written down. It's not going to be too complicated. It might add even some more fun to the league while solving these different problems I talked about. Now, if anybody has any questions.
Okay, there's a hand up. Bell, Calcio, and is up. Yes, you can go ahead and open your mic and ask. Dylan,
Yes, sir.
Dylan, one second. Before you answer, before you say anything, Bell, Dylan, what's the name of your team, please?
Galaxy XR?
All right, you can't change your name.
Yeah, but I would have to leave, so I'll do it after the meeting.
All right, hold on one second.
All right.
GLAXY, right? Galaxy.
Yeah.
GLAXY.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Bell, Calcio, your hand was up. Go ahead and ask a question.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
So in regard to stats, the thing that I noticed was that my team was very 50-50 on who really wanted their stats or who cared enough about their stats. So what I had done to make things easier on myself was I put a channel in our Discord that you could post a picture of your stats for the game, and then I would take that picture and interpret it into the League Republic. I just want to know, when it comes to the fines, do you find the manager if every single player doesn't, or if I list every single player who played in the game but don't include all of their important stats? Because as a manager, especially sometimes when there's like a draw, you only get 30 seconds to cover everybody's stats. It can be really difficult to get it, when there's after a loss, especially if there's an uproar. So I just wanted to know how that would work. Thank you.
Well, before I answer that, what I do as a manager, because none of my players do their own stats, they don't even really care that much. What I do is I just, even if it's a draw, quickly get it on my stream. So quickly go to performance. I stream every game no matter what. And I quickly go to the performance stat. And then later on, even if I'm only on each card for 1 second, I can pause the stream. And then I just enter them all as the manager. None of my other players have anything to do with it. That's a good question, though. I would say you at the very least have to show what your lineup was. That's the most important part.
1 second again. Robert, could you tell me which team do you represent, please?
Upsetters.
Upsetters.
Yeah.
All right, sir. All right. That is why we asked. That is why we ask people to appoint. Remember, part of the manager's requirement is to basically have more than one person in their management staff. What we had said is that you are to present to us a manager. You should have yourself an assistant, a stats person, and a social media person. Now people ask, why do we want a social media person? Because that's one of the questions we are getting a lot of asked back. Now here is it. When we started out CVPL, you never used to have pro club in our region, in our time frame. Pro club used to happen, and if you want to play pro club, you'd have to play with a European side, and you'd have to play like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the day. That was affecting us as pro player, because most of us who are admin or who have been admin or the founders of CVPL have been playing pro club for more than 9 years. So what we did is that we saw that that was not good for us. So what we did is that we left and we started in our time frame, so people could come and enjoy. And in doing so, we have a lot more people coming. We force the big people, like VFL, because we were a partner with VFL. We force them to come and be a part of the pro club community. So the pro club community is growing, but we still not getting the recognition that we ought to get. How are we going to change that? We are going to change that, where we are going to create an environment for where people will see us. Let me explain this. Let me explain something to you guys. What is happening right now within CVPL is that we have gotten news that there is an organization in the Spanish country that is using CVPL to be betting. So then bet after our game. They actually look out for the games at night time and they bet money actually making after that game. So what it is doing is that it is pushing Pro Club to be an entity where people can actually get paid to play Pro Club in this region. So therefore, the social media part of the management structure is a very important part that I want you guys to take seriously. Because
and
now you have
the stats kind of fall under that same category.
yes. So guys, once you do it, all right, let me share something with you. You go on the leaderboard. I can tell you, look on the leaderboard. And when you look on the leaderboard, I see player on there that is in the top 10, which player in this region is far better than them when it come on to stats, when it come on to game, and they are not on the leaderboard. All this happened because Europe actually have several people running several different league and having several streaming and social media telling people about them league. So CVPL mandate is to actually make Pro Club become it's CONCACAF in the CONCACAF Copa region become something that even EA has to be respected and treat Pro Club like how they treat foot. We don't get upgrade as fast as our foot get upgrade, and they are not listening to us. But by us with numbers and with media, we will get that result. So guys,
if anybody watched my last podcast, I was talking about how I can't believe there's games out there like League of Legends making millions and millions off their professional players, and FIFA is over here. Most people, when they think of FIFA, think of Ultimate Team. We're trying really hard, and sure, it's just putting stats in and stuff like that, but we're trying to make it legitimate so that people take notice of pro clubs, and we're all making money being professional players in the next 10 years.
Guys, I can say this to every person that is here. We have been around for quite some time. CVPL has been around for quite some time. We lost managers, we have lost admin, but our objective is not to actually push to be a professional. People paying, you have to pay for this. This is where people come sometime and lay the foundation.
Yeah,
and then
we're trying to grow the community so that we can get to that point.
Yes,
not CVPL, but the whole community as a point.
So guys, each one of us have to play the part, and CVPL could have not been what it has been or what it wants to be without you as manager. Remember, guys, we take, as Kyle says, we take your advice and we bring them to the table. We sit down as a group of us and we looked at the advice. And as Kyle says, with this long season signing by player, it now put you in a position where forfeiting may get minimized, may not stop, but be minimized. Because once a player is signed to a team, they cannot play for a next team within the league for that season unless they're on loan or they're been sold. No, the manager still have the option of bringing in free agents, because free agent will consistently be coming into the league, and you have the option of bringing a free agent. And when you bring in a free agent, you will not pay any money for that free agent. All right, I'll pass over to admin discipline. Let she explain the budget, the document that you'll be getting through Google. We'll be using Google Sheet to share the document with you, and you guys will have to put in the information as it relevant to the explanation that she will give. Admin discipline, your time.
All right, good night, managers. All right, so on screen, we have a sample of what your team budget will look like. Your opening budget is $50 million. So we are gonna ask all managers to ensure that their returning players or free agents that they signed be listed on this budget. Now, free agents and returning players are at no cost. So signing a free agent or re-signing your returning player is at no cost to the team. So you make sure that you put in the date that the player is signed, the player name. So you have a column for player name, and the player details would indicate what type of player it is, whether it's a returning player, if it's a free agent, if it's a player that is purchased from another team, right? Or if it's a player that, or if it's one of your players that you are selling. Then on the column immediately beside that, you will have the team fines and price. So that column, you will have a drop down list in each cell that allows you to choose what you are entering. So whether it's tournament winnings or you are entering a fine for you received a fine for no stream or no stats. So you would select that from the drop down list and you will put in the relevant fines. Now, if you look over immediately to your left or right, sorry, immediately to your right, you will see we have 3 columns of players. Now, this is where you're going to list your different expenses or, income. So in the first column, you have your free agent or your returning players. Now, that is zero, no money for that. So you always just leave that zero. You just put in $0 and leave that. A player buying a player from another team starts at a minimum of $5 million. Now, a manager can determine what they want to sell a player at. So if they decide that their player is valued $50 million and they want to sell the player for that, it's up to them. But the minimum starting selling fee or transfer fee is $5 million. All right. And vice versa for the sales. Then immediately beside that, you have the team fines and the prize monies, right? And what the spreadsheet has been calculated or set up to do is to automatically calculate for you, so it gives you a running balance. So if you notice in this example that we have here, on the 20th of the 6th, 2021, for example, OU, they purchased a player, one for 5 million and one for 6 million, right? They won a tournament, and they were fined 1.5 million for no stream. So at the end of all of that tally and everything, their running balance in their budget was 42.5 million. Now, if you go straight down to the bottom of this spreadsheet, you will see a legacy there. The legacy tells you what are the relevant transfer fees, selling fees, free agents and returning players that doesn't come with a fee, and it tells you what the prize monies are and the fines are. So it's pretty simple. I will be checking your sheets because I will ensure that they're up to date and accurate and verify your budget. And it's pretty simple. If you do not understand, you can reach out to me or Kyle, or Baba, just to make sure that you get everything clearly. And I'll be willing to walk you through it, the first time you're doing it. So that's it. That's it. It's very simple. Any questions? All right, seeing we have no questions, I will turn over back to Baba.
All right, guys. I can see. Wait, we have somebody in the meeting with just a dot. Mr. Dot, could you tell me which team you represent, please? Mr. Dot or Mr. Full Stop? Okay, that's all I can see. Could you tell me which team you represent, please? All right. Mr. Dot seems like he's not hearing us. So a question was asked. What happens if you run out of money and miss stats? That's a
I guess it'll go in the negative.
That's a good. That mean whoa, that's a good question. How you guys think we should have worked that out? Let's ask the manager then.
Well, also we need to decide if we're going to roll over what money you have left in the next season, which I would say the money you'll get for your prize at the end of the year it'll be taken out of that if you're in the negative.
So okay, so you say a club will be bankrupt before the season done and going as a broken club going forward. That's what you're saying. No, I'm trying to work it out because guess what now? Olaba might be that club, and everybody know that is Olaba I play for. So I might just be that unlucky club that end up being in the broke because you see everything in the budget that's where you say Olaba already owe money. But guys, it also put bragging rights on players. Because all right, let's use Olaba because I'm part of Olaba. And if Olaba is in the bottom of the table and I want to come to the table, I might just approach Kyle or Orlando, 402 top defender, and offer them a good chunk of money. So the player can put into this card what he's been sold for. Isn't that so?
Right.
Seems an expensive player because I can say even a 5 million, me are going to 10. That's what? Out of 50 million, that's a 10 gone. Oh, that's hard still, you know. Yeah, yes, admin discipline hand is up. Let me hear what she has to say.
How you put up your hand?
Well,
Okay. Never mind.
You find out.
Alright, I'm fine. I'll figure it out.
the recommendation though is that negative balances will be brought forward because at the beginning of the next season, you will not receive a new allocation of $50 million. So this does require good budget management and winning of games. You know, we are looking at offering teams in the next season an allocation, but not 50 million. Based on where you fall on the table, you will receive an allocation based on that.
Hold on 1 second. When I manager so they can't get into the meeting because well, that is bad. I don't know why you can't get in. All right, so manager, let's first look at your contract. Then we will look at we will look at the player contract. Now, guys, this is why we spend all of the time fixing the discard, making sure that the discard meet the needs of what we want it to meet, and also making sure that everything is in good standing and everything is in good grace of what we want to do. If you can see, now everybody was put back into the discard as put back into the discard as a free agent, and then once you and that player have that discussion about the signing, guys, because remember you are managers, it is your team. Olaba has been around for 7 years playing leagues and getting beaten and winning and all of that. Rupture, Drizzy has been around for a long while to Tropics and see him start him own team and him a building reputation. Rupture was in the last, so they are back. So everybody building there, and it is your team. You have to take control of your team, and you have to have this discussion with your player to let the player know. Says that is why we didn't, as a player come in and you sign, we didn't just give the player tag and we give you the option to talk to them in the free agent, have a discussion with the free agent, and when you're ready to sign them, you go into your team, and then they get access to your team trade, and you can then sign them in your team trade, so they are now your player and they are set for your player. Alba asks, will player have a buyout clause? That's a good question, Alba. I didn't put it in there. Yeah, I think yeah.
The buyout clause is the release clause. That's the same thing, right? 5 million.
What do you think, managers? Let's ask the managers them.
About what? The buyout clause itself?
The buyout clause?
Yeah.
Well, what's the difference between that and the release?
All right, so but
No,
I think
I don't.
what I think the problem lies, it would be like, say for like just Lavish at Portland, right? Is obviously their star player. I don't think his buyout clause would be 5 million.
I don't think.
Yeah, but we're not going to be evaluating any players ourselves.
Yeah,
but think about it, right? Yeah. Why have a buyout clause if we are given 50 million, right? Now, if a player's buyout clause, like say 50 million, is the same as just purchasing a regular player.
Yeah, that makes sense though. And a play, hold on, but a player would have to get paid. How am I gonna buy it out? Because somebody says a player would have
to me, there's no such thing as a buyout clause. There's just release. There's release, loan, and sell.
The buyout clause is
release, loan, and sell are the only three options, though.
Yeah, it means you don't have to say to your player, say, hey, we are offer you. No, this is all right, guys. Remember, this is all virtual money. If you want to keep your player and say you pay your player, that is up to you as a manager, because I mean, if a player want to buy out of you, if you tell him, say, so it is not possible now because they are not getting a salary, a virtual salary. So the release clause is what we'd have used if a player want to leave and he asks permission to leave. Now remember, so you are entitled to 20, how much? 22? 24 or 22 player?
24.
Okay. Yeah, so therefore let's keep it to let's keep it to the release clause alone, and that will work. All right, guys, I'm gonna share again my screen, and this time we're going to take a quick look at the manager contract. You will get this. It is so the copy that is presently in the discard will be taken down, and this will be the new one that we'll put up after this meeting, because we wanted to have this discussion with you. We have made all we did was just made some small changes to this this new contract. As you can see, if you are seeing it, you can just let me know. It is very simple. What we basically do is, if you had filled out this information already, you don't have to fill it out again. This is the information where we keep data on managers and stuff like that during their lifespan with us. And we have added the section of the virtual finance that the team is going to have and get upfront at the starting of the league. And it also explained the three procedure of player can only leave or enter another team by this method. And they explain the three method here. So manager, I'm going to ask you please to read through this contract, because this is what you are signing off on. Whenever you sign in the contract trade that you agree, you do sign off on this. A lot of people sometimes don't read this document, and then they made a fuss when they are being held accountable. That's simple, the truth of it. Number 7 we have had there, that was not in the document for some time. Number 6 was there but was not stated this clearly. All players must be registered on the CVPL website and be active member in the communication of the CVPL Discord. Now, I have been reading some discussion between CVPL and Alba and the other admin them about people coming in and leave the server. All right, guys, I play with VFL for a couple of years, and when you register with VFL website, they didn't have a Discord. If you are not on their website, you cannot play in their league if you are not in their thing. We use the website as a means for managing data as it relates to the league. Then we use the Discord as a means of communication and accountability with players. When I say accountability, is that if you play a player and I want to know if that player is on your team, I can go into Discord immediately while the stream drop, bring up the player thing, click on your team and see all your players that are registered, because another team just accused you of using a player that is not registered. If your player left Discord, there is no way I can justify not saying to the next team, say, yes, you can get the points, because I cannot justify it if your player chooses to left the Discord at that time. Also, as I said, I want you guys to know is that everything that we do as admin is to make the job much easier for us that are volunteer and has been putting in so many hours. in this league to make it work. You know, so therefore it is also Elite Alba. I don't understand the last part of your question. Is it a website for CVPL in the? Yes, yes, we are working. It was supposed to launch, yes, because it was supposed to launch at the beginning of this current season coming up, but unfortunately something came up that our technician or our technical staff have to be working on our next project, but we're still pushing to have the website up before we kick off in 2 weeks time. We are working on it. We have all almost completed, but it is not yet. We are working on a website and an app for CVPL, so things can be much easier and more and flow much easier. That's a big goal. Remember that CVPL is a non-profit, no collection, no money making league. So most of the funds are coming out of some of the admin donating funds towards what we are doing, or companies has been having their people work for us for free. So that's how we get the league running and the structure in this way. All right, so guys, I'm asking you, please go read this because this having all your responsibility, everything that you have to do as it relates to the league. We don't have the time to go through it tonight. Here is where we're having one of the biggest problem in our last tournament. Guys, people asking, how do we label our stream? And managers, this has been in the document from the first time we played our first league about 5 years ago. Whoa, no, long before that, when we had the best of the best, before we even have CVPL. This was there, actually, this was there from those times. To be honest with you, Lamar from Viking was one of the person who helped me to come up with this this formula of how we can actually record, stream them, and follow through. So guys, stop ask us for information that you already have in your hands. You are managers. Managers must know this information before time. It is in the document, so please visit the document, download the document, put it on your phone, and read the document so you can understand what is your responsibility. Is there anything I'm leaving out off of it that is very important, Carl?
Oh, it looks good.
Okay. Any question? Any question, guys?
No.
All right. So I don't see any hands up, so that means that we are good. We are good with that. Okay. I'm gonna pull up. I'm listening.
I have a suggestion, right? That each team is given $50 million, right? Okay, let's say example my team. And I wanted a person from the next team and they charged 50 million. Okay, now I'll be in debt, right? I think that players should have a minimum and a maximum of how much you can pay for a player, because if I was to buy a player for 50 million, then it kind of like takes the excitement of me in the transfer market buying other players. You understand?
Yeah, I
But
understand what you're saying, but no manager has to sell a player. So if they didn't want to sell a player, they didn't have to. And if they really wanted them sold, they would put it less than that for the money.
But what if a situation where the player wants to leave?
So if the player wants to leave, there's three things that can happen. You could be sold, like we just talked about. You could be loaned for free, or you can be released for $5 million. But it's up to the manager of that player, because it's a season-long contract, to decide what he wants to do. Would he rather just release him? Would he loan him out, or would he sell him for a certain amount?
You see, but it's like, okay, because if it's a player that they're not using and the player wants to leave and they decide to sell him for 50 million.
Mm-hmm.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, well, if somebody actually wanted to spend that, then they could. Otherwise, they would be stuck with that player.
Exactly.
But so that's up to the manager if they want the roster spot or whatever.
All right. Well, I don't think I'll be buying any players, but I'm looking out for the other team.
I can understand. I understand you clearly what you're saying, brother. Let me tell you the honest truth. The honest truth is this.
Uh,
All right. Let me give a perfect example, and I'm going to use this as an example because as once more, you guys know that Olaba is actually our team over the years. Is that Olaba is also one of the team that bring a lot of people, a lot of manager into the league. And this year we run the risk of, you know what we did? We run the risk of taking a team from VFL and just drop it into Olaba. And the
mm,
first one, the manager just left after they lost, because they thought it was like an easy thing. But because they use any and we don't use any, it was difficult for them to cope. And they left after the first third game. Now the second manager came in, right? Brought in a group of friends. And the friends them decided mind to them not play for the manager if it's not one of them are the manager. And that made the manager get a punishment. When the manager was banned from even managing another team in the league. That is unfair to the manager too, don't?
yeah.
And the third team, the manager tell the man them say him no want play no more because him no want follow the rules, and him take about 6 players with him. Now him so the point I'm telling is that we have to sit down and look at how. No, guess what? I even see, here's something I'm going to share with you guys.
Uh,
Player into a team and I train the man them outside of the team, undermine the manager, so the manager lose the team and then him take over the team.
mm,
So everything, so guys, we're not, what we're doing is that we are not trying to make it very hard, but we also want the thing to be fun but professional, so the league can play without we are forfeiting games, and because there are going to be trouble in the camp, whether you like it, yes or no. And that is why we make the team have a maximum of 24. That means,
uh,
but we want people that are responsible to be managers. So you are going to have the responsibility of managing your team. And if whatever you want to do, if you want a player to come take over your team, then we are going to hold you accountable. We are giving you the tools to manage your team. Isn't that a great thing that we are doing for you guys?
yeah.
All right, I'm going to share now the manager, the player contract. And this you will have to where they go online, fill out the form. So you're going to have all your players sign this form. You can keep it in your team trade or you can keep it personally. We don't have to have anything to do with it.
Mm,
Right? This contract is what you are going to use. It's something between you and your player. So we sat down, we draft it up and make sure that we spend the time because you guys are busy. We spend the time to draft the contract. I'll share this with you. One manager that looked over it, it says, this is because it's a 3-page document. So it's a lengthy document. All right, guys. So here is where you have different section of the contract where the contractual period, you go and put it in, which is 1 season. We have some manager ask for it to be more than 1 season, but for now, we want to start off with 1 season and work with 1 season. On it have this section that deals with the player, and on it have this section of the club. So it has the club responsibility, the manager club responsibility, and also in section 9, it have the right to terminate. This is a good part for both managers and player to look at because this is when the admin and the disciplinary board will have to get involved. This section here is like a loophole because everything have a loophole. So guys, we don't have the time to read through it. I'm going to ask you guys to read through it for yourself afterward. Regulation of the game, dispute section, and at the bottom of it, you have the signing where you can choose how you want the player to sign and how you want to do it. It's between you and the player. We only did up the document. You can put um, your team logo on the document, so it becomes something between you, your team, and your player. Guys, please have this document, read to your player and complete because the admin is going to hold you accountable based upon this document.
mm,
All right, guys.
mm.
Any questions? Any questions? With the document, you will be getting the document before the week out. more likely tomorrow is a busy day. So more like, yeah, tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, you'll get a link to the document where you can send your player to use that link, or you can create your own link and your own thing and use it as best as you see fit to do so. As I says, it is a 3-page document. So there's a lot of information in there to protect both player and managers.
Mm.
All right?
Mm. For loan players, right?
Yes.
Could we recall them from loan?
Yes, you can.
All right. But if we recall him, could they play with the team right away?
It is your player.
Okay, just making sure.
But if me as a manager, I mean I take a loan player from you, me I go want for a spell.
You go what?
I go want him for a certain time. So you're not gonna just come call him and then tomorrow night I'm a center forward, me a play, you call me and tell me say you need him.
No,
Because
no, not that.
yeah, so me I go say, boy, I need him for a spell. Me need him for a period of time. And for that period of time, if you want him before then the onus is going to be upon how are we going to work it out, because that player may become an essential player to my team. I'm just telling you, I'm talking as an ex-manager. No. All right, guys, we have come to the part of question and answers. Is there anything that was not clear? Isn't there anything that you did not get to understand? Is there anything that we have not explained to you clearly? There are some managers who have not added their team members and their PSN discard and PSN name in their team thread. We are going to ask you, please, if you have any friend or manager, get it out to them, please, and let them know that this has to be completed this week.
Oh yeah, about that, right? There's a situation where I'm trying to tag the players, but I'm not able to do it.
Kyle, when you give them the team,
so yeah, all you got to do is tell me their Discord and I'll do it.
Yes, just reach out to Kyle or myself and we'll do it for you.
Because what I would do is I would let them send me a screenshot of their account with their name and the hashtag, and I will send it in the group along with their PSN.
That is kind of.
And the ones you've done so far, I've added. You just have to have them say accept in your team thread.
All right. So they just have to say they accept.
Yes, sir, because you're a new team.
Okay, all right.
Let's just make that be clear. New teams, because it's the first time you are going to use this player, they have to say that accept in your team after you drop them name. So we don't have no discrepancy with any player says, me never sign up with them money, put me name on them list. I mean, never dip on them list, you know. That is why we have said they have to accept. The returning player, we have played with them, we have a relationship with them, we know them and their manager struggle through. So we will take it at face value that they didn't get released and they wanted to continue. But with a new player might come in and see him friend a play for another team, and because he didn't accept anything, him say you put him on him team. We have seen that in the past. All right, any more questions?
Well, I brought it the other day that admin should have a vote. What I said again? Admin of the season, that's what I said.
Okay, Kyle is the person who take care of things like those.
Oh yeah, we could put together a vote for everyone. Once we get everyone's tags sorted and we're all in the same player area, then I'll drop that in the player area. That's a great idea.
Yes.
And vote for me.
Somebody said that. No, you know, somebody shared me today. It says somebody said to me that today we should have a vote for the best player of the season. Just like we are the best admin, we are the best manager and the best player for the season. Somebody said that to me today, Kyle.
Oh, that's a good idea. We could do all three at once.
Yes, do it by midfield, attack, and defend, and even goalkeeper too, because I don't want to feel left out.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, that's something we need to look into. All right, guys. One more. We come to the end of this meeting, but one more thing before we leave. We are in discussion with a sponsor. Oh, before I say that, yes, Calicio, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
It's a very quick recommendation, but I was talking with somebody in the group chat, and I thought it might be a really good idea to have a league-wide record book so that from year to year, some of the best performances that get recorded carry over. So, for example, Alba's team, I think it was Elite 21, won the title back to back. They won however many games they did in the season, the longest win streak. Just maybe some simple records that can carry over to make like a dynasty a possibility, so that what happens in each year doesn't go by the wayside. It doesn't. If you guys want it to be like serious and really mirror what makes sports so wonderful, it's setting a record and then everybody else is all aiming to break the same record. I thought that might be something that would really amp up the focus and the desire to win and to really put in a good match game in and game out, because like a goal scored record or a Ballon d'Or would be something that could be carried over. And even if a player leaves the league, their mark could still be on it, or something. Maybe if you have to be in the league, your record stands. I don't know, but
Oh
I just
yes,
Exactly.
all right. That is one of the that is one of the reasons why we have the stream. The intention is to use the stream to continue that onward. And yes, yes, we what I'm thinking. I've started pencil up something. I haven't spoken to any of the admin or anybody yet. Because normally each one of us will pencil up an idea and then take it to the admin group and we look through it. Is to have like a top 100 goal sheet, top 100 player, and that will become part of our website when we launch it. So if a person 50 years down the line when we pass on this to the young people, we can see it on the records on our thing that, yeah, me used to play a pro club when me the young like it, and see my name out there in the world, me up on the top. So that is so those, the social media, the stats and all of that is geared towards what you just said, Calisio, is to make that be a reality. We had one team which we were looking at closely who had won the league back to back a couple of times, but we found out that they had cheated and used it some cheat to win the league, and that just they throw everything at whack. Finally, as we close off, if there's no other question, this is just for you guys. We are looking into we are talking to a sponsor, and before the league kick off, we may make the advertisement that we are open, that we can, the team that win the season, we can actually at least give them some cash incentive at the end of the season. So we have not yet finalized it. Remember, nobody pays, so we have to look sponsor to do it, and we are in discussion to see if we can make that happen. So it is something that people can look at going forward. Guys, I want to thank you for turning out this evening. Pass on the news to all the rest of the manager them. And this is the problem that I'm having. Manager don't turn up to meeting, and then they come into the general thread and started to start to make a fuss about information that we discussed in manager meeting. We will have one more meeting before we kick off the league, so you can look out for that. The league is intended to kick off. When is the date again, Kyle?
The 12th.
The 12th.
June 12th.
June
Yeah.
12th. So we have one more meeting because we're still putting everything together, and we will, if all the managers play their part, do what they have to do, we will be having a sort of round robin tournament on the weekend to just make team test out their skills, test out how good they are against other teams, to get prepared for the league, going into the league. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Wish you all the best in the tournament and made a better team. And I see everybody going off Elite 21. So I hope that these guys go off. Well, if I win again, I might be the player with the most CVPL title. No, you still have to wrestle with wait, which team win it twice already? Orlando. Hey, Alba, you may talk to you. Say Orlando packing team this time around.
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that?
no financial fair play for that.
See the man them. Yeah, no financial. What them high money? Man City style.
Yo,
I hear a team by all the top players from the next side. No financial fair play.
Yeah, man, the man pack up in team. So Alba, the man packing team, and so you can't stay that tall, but you're the most. You have to go beat him.
That's
See
how
what's
I'm
going
doing.
on, Baba. I see what's going on, but I'm not saying anything yet. I'm not saying anything yet.
But hey, man, I tell me say I take break. A man said to me say, Baba, me I take break from the league. I'm look, me see the man. Me see the man a sign for Orlando, you know? Kid. Most of the man, listen, some of the man them said to me say, Baba, we take a break in the next 2 and end, you know. Me see the man them name come upon Orlando Rasta, so.
Oh yeah.
Big gun.
If anybody missed the podcast Monday, go search it out because I talked to Nick and I asked him the hard hitting questions just about those very subjects.
Damn.
But guys, guess what? As you guys know, no team is too big to be beaten. The ball is round.
He is gonna be more Bex. He might go Bex more, you know. Because all of them big signing there, if him lose the title, he might go Bex. Honestly. I'm serious. All of them big signing there. If him lose the title, he more Bex.
Honestly, to be honest with you, Orlando don't need to sign big name to win the title because most of those guys have
Exactly
been
my
playing
point.
together. Most of those guys have been playing together for like 4 or 5 years. So they don't need to make big signing. A team like OU or Gunners with just a start and Campton we're in the league and just a build back them team should have make them big signing there. Kyle too. Never need to make but Kyle lose some players.
Yeah, man. I play
Kyle
Portland. I
lose
play
players
Portland a
and
couple
game
times.
players, man. Kyle lose players
Yeah.
and game players.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Kyle,
I
your
would've
team
stayed
kind of
the
becoming
same.
one-dimensional, you know?
But
Yeah,
guys,
your team kind of becoming predictable, one-dimensional.
we are looking forward to see the season kick off because I'm upset how go on the season this year.
Yeah, man. The season is hotter than last season, man.
Baba,
Honestly.
is this week the preseason tournament? And if so, will it be the full 22 teams participating in the preseason tournament?
It's supposed to, but we still having art. Alba, me tell you what all over. The manager them not follow through them instruction, bro. We were planning to have a for the 2 weekend, we have a pre-tournament for the 2 weekend with all 24 team. But some of the man them all know enough about them details and when you talk some man I get heated and thing,
Yeah,
and, you know.
so it might turn into like 1 or 2 game preseason.
Yeah, and that is not right. You know, because guess what, guys, we have to remember say, all right, remember, you know, all of us here that are admin are really people working, you know. This is not how we get paid. And if you guys, you know, look, you see how the thing is organized and structured and everybody have the responsibility. But we have to have people that run down people to get them information just to do the thing. It can be really, and then the funny thing is that when we come into this card, people like us, it can be really antagonizing, bro. Now, I have been doing this now for almost 5 years, and I'm telling you guys the truth. It's because of the love of the game, and we have a bigger goal than just myself. Make some time, boy. That's why Baba not even send some time in the chat, you know. I'm telling the truth. So guys, reach out to the manager, man. Cause all right, we are planning to have a manager board, you know. Alba, talk to some of the manager them. And organize. We want to have a manager's board.
No problem, no problem.
Where manager can sit down and have discussion. Thank you guys for coming out. Wish you a great season. We'll meet again before the season starts because I want to tell you about it, the preseason. So have a great rest of the week and see you on the weekend.
All right, man.